Just doing a bit of an update here. I've got the snap set on this piece. This piece is stitched to this piece. Now that way, the inside of the snap is not on the inside of the sheath. Also, when I do that, got the belt loop on too. When I do it like that, I recess the stitches into the back side of the leather. That way, the knife blade isn't rubbing against them. I use my stitch groover. I prefer this kind of stitch groover because I can take that out and it becomes a freehand stitch groover. Also, with my gimpy hand, the kind of stitch groover where you got to twist it a little bit to make the groove doesn't work so well with me. With this one, I can just apply a straight pressure and groove that away. Anyway, here's where we're at. We've got, like I said, the belt loop stitched on. This piece with the snap is stitched on. The next step is just going to be to glue these two together. Well, I'll get to this. I'm going to use, that's right, my Tanner's Bond contact cement. And we'll get set up and we'll go ahead and take care of that. Before I start gluing on this, I want to make sure that everything is done before I glue this together. Because once I put it together, yeah, I can pull it apart, but that's a bit of a pain. Now I do have to, where the welt comes out here, I do have to trim that to be even with the top of the sheath, or the top of this part of the sheath. For that, I'll just use my little rolling cutter. Make sure I have it straight and just kind of nibble into it. And do this side. Okay, that's good. It's got it pretty good there. Just a little bit of a trim on this one. There we go. That's good. Yeah, I can use a knife. You can use several different ways of doing this. I've used a large chisel before and just push down on it and cut off the excess. But now that that's done, next thing I'm going to do is take my dividers, okay, and adjust those to the width of the welt, which is just about there. See if I can find a scratch on. Found it. Put this on here. Now, what I don't want to do is to put it right there and mark it, because there's a possibility that somebody might be able to see that mark. So what I'll do is I'll push it down just a little bit, mark that side, and mark that side. Then take my dividers and mark along the edge. And that'll be my glue line. Let's see, where's my mark? It's way up there. This doesn't have to be a neat mark. This is just a guide where you're going to put the glue. Mark the other side. Yeah, a little bit off. But like I said, that don't really matter. Don't know if you can see that, but I have a scratch line, or I should say a line scratched into it, where the glue's going to go. Speaking of scratching, I'm just going to scuff it up a little bit, just to give the glue a little bit more to adhere to. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll come back and put some glue on. I've already spread the glue on this side. Now I'm going to spread it on this side. Nothing really fancy or complicated with it. Just get a little bit on my brush. Can comes with a brush and the lid, and just spread it. I guess, you know, just keep it a nice thin coat. It doesn't have to be all thick and gloppy. It will absorb into the leather a little bit. And you don't have to be too picky with it. And then, after you spread the glue on it, just leave it sit for, I don't know, I usually give it about 10 minutes or so. Whoopsie. To tack up. And to get to the point where it's just tacky, but it's not wet. And then put the two pieces together. Okay, I'm going to give that a little bit of time to tack up, and we'll be back. Okay, it's been actually closer to 20 minutes, but it's okay. And the glue is tacky. So you can touch it, and it doesn't come up on your fingers, but it feels kind of sticky. Now, some people, they put bunches of clamps on these things, which, like when I glued this, I clamped it there because it had stress put on it. And like, let's see if I can find some. Here we go. Especially this guy, because this is lined with soft leather, so that actually makes it a bit stiffer. And when I folded it over to glue it, I clamped it along that seam. But for something like this, it's something flat being glued to something flat. You don't really need to clamp it. You just got to make sure you mash it together real good when you put the two pieces together. Just line that up. Just so they just touch together. Because if it's not lined up the way you like, you can pull it apart. Just touch them together. Now I can feel this seam on the other side with my fingers, and I'm watching how this side's coming together. Here we go. And I'm just going to push it together with my fingers. And that is pretty much that. I'm just going to mash it down for a little while, and you know, you don't have to really get it, because it'll hold together just fine. Well, the next step is going to be sanding these edges and then marking our stitch holes. All right. We'll see you next time.